I'm afraid you've got me now for the next presentation, which you've had all the young ones, and now you've got a traditional farmer in his 60s, and of course the average age of farmers is around 60. So in Wales. So anyway, I'm coming at from a different perspective in that, um, as Johnny's just said, we need land in order to do these things. And land is quite expensive, or it's traditionally handed down from father to son and father to daughter. So it is sometimes difficult to get hold of suitable land, but also perhaps to find a willing landowner who is prepared not just to rent land out for grass keep or for grass, but actually to allow you to do something with it differently. Just to give a bit on my background, the Langtons took over a field of mine last March, as they said. We have a 60-acre farm, of which and an extra 10-acre wood, and we were one of the first organic farms in the Brecon Beacons National Park. It was a family farm. I returned after a different career in Scotland in 1988 with my family, and we built up from there. I was always keen on diversification, as many farmers are. A lot go into tourism. We did convert some, build some cottages. We have presently pedigree herd of Murray Grey cattle. We've had sheep in the past, but our latest, well, 10 years ago now, we started producing apple juice, Welsh farmhouse apple juice. My son has taken it over now last year. It's become one of the most successful diversifications we've done, and we were honoured with a royal warrant from the Prince of Wales in 2015. So that's, and I've always been keen to encourage young people into farming, and not necessarily young people who have come from a farming background. And what we're seeing today is perhaps, very interesting. But today I want to talk to you about what I had to go through in order to be convinced that letting them have a field of mine was and they're smiling, I can see them smiling, but was good to suit an old timer like me. Well, you have to have a bit of faith, I think. I'm at the age now where I can afford to reduce my stocking, and obviously I'm going to retire. And so you have to have a bit of faith, and you have to let people in. If you're going to set up and allow people to come onto your land and rent it, it has to be done on a business footing. You cannot say, oh yeah, come on, you can come in. And that's where your trouble starts. So what I did, I sat down and I said, right, what is that field worth to me as a farmer? And from there on, I worked out what it would cost me, or what I was not getting from that field. I talked to Catherine and David, and we came up with a costing. Now, this costing is higher. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is higher than the traditional rent of a green field, because what you have to accept as well is they're going to make changes to that field, put polytunnels up and other things that will change the structure of that field. And although we have an agreement that if they did leave, they would put everything back in place, the whole structure does change. You have to also understand what your tenant wants to do. And I'm very lucky here in that I've got a couple of really good tenants, and we work very closely together. And I collaborate with them, they collaborate with me. For instance, if they need to borrow the tractor, I just go down, and if I need a couple of dozen eggs, I get a couple of dozen eggs, and that's the way we work it at the moment. It's like having another son and daughter, I'm afraid, but and they work really well. But it's important that you have a proper legal document drawn up. And the other risk that farmers will say to you is, well, once you've got them in there, you'll not get them out. But you can have a 2-year tenancy, which is what we have at the moment. I'm sure it'll be extended, but don't tell David and Catherine. But uh, it is important that you agree the length of the tenancy for both sides, because David, it would have been no good for David and Catherine having a 1 year tenancy, because as they've said, they've come in and they've done it. The pros of it, therefore, is we work in collaboration, we share machinery. David, my son, actually benefits from their box scheme because he can sell his apple juice via their box scheme, which is very useful as well. The support for local food production is really important to me, and I know it's to David and Catherine, and I think it's something that if you take that leap of faith, as I've called it, to encompass this, and if farmers are prepared to do that and not rely on a brown envelope dropping through your door in November, then we will change agriculture in the UK somewhat. And it does take that leap of faith. And I'm sure everybody who's been involved with this, either on my side or on David and Catherine's side, will understand that. And I wish everybody well. So that's all I'm going to say about that one, and we can put